Hey guys, so this is just going to be the continuation of our episode from a couple weeks ago. Brand new episode. We're looking specifically just at StarTropics today. Hopefully you enjoy. It's a very fun episode. And yeah, it's good stuff. Enjoy.
Okay, so I gotta rescue my uncle, but I'm not too sure how to find him, so I go to this island, right? But first I gotta talk to the chief, and then I gotta get some clues from a parrot, and then I'm helping these dolphins, and all the time I'm sneaking through graveyards and shooting zombies and blasting monsters. Then my sub cracks up on the rocks, and then the next thing I know I'm cruising inside a whale. Whoa!
Oh, new game from Nintendo, man. StarTropics. Every chapter's like another adventure, so it's like a whole slew of games in one. What's the matter with you?
And moving along. Our last entry for probably a little bit. Or the last of our NES mini reviews. Ready for this one?
Absolutely.
Again, I think that's absolutely 15 on the podcast, so we're going to try and hit our quota of 50. So Tyson, thanks for keeping us going.
Absolutely.
StarTropics. The release date of this title was December 1st, 1990. How long to beat has this game at 7.5 hours? Yeah, it's kind of a long game.
Mm-hmm.
Actual retail price was $39.99. Current eBay price, $17 for a loose copy and $55 for a complete copy. So again, relatively okay. I don't know if it's... Just download a ROM. Yeah. I mean, don't do that. Bad. eShop price, it's on the Wii and Wii U for $5. It is not on the 3DS. That is a travesty. That is one of the greatest travesties I've ever seen. I don't understand why there's not a port there. This is a great handheld game.
Yeah, and it should be played on the go because it's kind of if you like kill yourself on a dungeon, you're gonna start all over again.
Yeah,
that 7.5 hours can easily creep up.
I would recommend. This is definitely I would call it a guide or a save state kind of game because we don't got time for that. We're busy people,
Absolutely.
I got Twitter, Facebook, social media sites, Titter to go check out. Titter, actual thing. You know what Titter is?
No idea.
A family-friendly flash game site aimed at young girls.
Wow.
Yep, that came up at Christmas dinner, and I checked it out and Googled it, and no, everyone was convinced it's a front for something.
Yeah, it's like the Catholic Church. You just know they're up to no good.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on to the development details of this beautiful game. This was created by Nintendo's R&D 1 division, which is Research and Development 1. They also made a little game called The Legend of Zelda. They wanted to create a spiritual successor for The Legend of Zelda. This game was featured on the cover of Nintendo Power 21. The Virtual Console re-release renamed the yo-yo that you get as a weapon to the Star due to a copyright of yo-yo.
Yeah, how weird is that? That Yo-Yo would sue this video game for just being like, don't you dare use our product.
No one uses yo-yo. We're the only people that use yo-yo.
Yeah, you can find them at a dollar store, guys. Give it up.
Yep. What do they call them? Like reaction devices or reaction spinnies?
Yeah, or like just like this. Sometimes they're just called like spinners, or just they've got some random like I have no idea. Something like 2000. They was throw random numbers in there.
The Yo 2000. Not a yo-yo. Just one.
Exactly.
That's funny. That's it for development details in this game. I looked high and low. I looked for interviews. Not much was known. I think basically they were just going for, we fucked up with Zelda 2. Sorry. Here's a different game. With a different little take. That's it. Sorry, guys. Moving right on to the controls, though. Stiff. Very stiff feeling controls. How are the controls on your end?
Very slippery. Because you slide into grids. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not ideal. Where Zelda had that smooth kind of buttery feel to it, but you're clearly moving in grids. This is not like that.
Yeah, that's fair. I said you move awkwardly around the screen in a grid pattern. You can't swing and move while in combat, so when you swing your star or your yo-yo, you're basically stuck. You can't really move around too much. I feel like you're not very agile. You do get some fun items with bats and bolos and even ray guns, and there's like these weird cleats you get later on in the game, so those power-ups are a lot of fun. There's a problem with the power-ups in this game that we can discuss. Mm-hmm. And I don't really like the difference between the adventuring portion and the action portions of the game. So the overworld map is a lot different from the dungeon overview. And as I'm saying this, I'm a big fan of Zelda 2, so maybe I shouldn't have so many complaints about it.
Yeah, I just think that if the controls in the dungeon were better and the overworld didn't look like terrible, I think it would go a lot. This game would be better kind of perceived, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Then the last thing I have is the live system was a great addition. So when you enter a dungeon, you get 3 lives. If you die, you just kind of start back at the beginning. And you start back at the beginning anyway, so I don't really know what the penalty of death is.
Yeah, just seems arbitrary.
Mm-hmm.
Except for maybe if you have to pick up items again.
Oh, maybe that was it. I don't know. Again, save states. First memories. I first saw/heard of this game when my roommate bought it on the virtual console when he got a Wii and played the shit out of it. Up until that point, literally never heard of it before.
Yeah, I never heard about it until you were actually talking about it, I think, in your podcast, in the Top 10 podcast.
Okay. So this was my first time playing through the game, like fully, top to bottom. I played through it a little bit. I got up to like chapter 2 or something like that. I did listen to the Continue Cast's podcast on this game and really liked it. It was really funny. If you've never listened to the Continue show on YouTube, check them out. They've got another one, Continue Quest, which is kind of their Let's Play section. They're really funny. The one guy can't remember the melody of songs when he sings them, and he does a great rendition of In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins to no rhythm whatsoever. Like... And and then I guess I also watched H.C. Bailey's Let's Play on YouTube a couple times in the last couple years.
He's so good at games.
He is the RPG master.
Yeah, he's very, very good. He knows all the ins and outs. He's so quick and efficient.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes you watch the guys like Game Grumps, even though they're entertaining, really entertaining to watch. They take forever to kind of get games completed. So
yeah, I wonder what he does in terms of viewership and stuff like that. Because the one nice thing is because he's always releasing episodes, to watch it fully, you'd have to sit and watch every episode, right? So you get more reason to watch them, and there's good information, and you go back and look at them again. Versus like a Game Grumps that has just these stupid little run-in jokes and watching them screw up and stuff.
I feel like H.C. Bailey's more for, if you're trying to master the game, he will literally be just watch where I'm jumping here because there's some hidden platforms, and you're like, Jesus, dude, you're really good at this game.
Yeah, so. Memory like a ironclad trap.
Yeah, and the dude puts it on YouTube for us to enjoy.
Yeah, thanks, H.C. Bailey. For some reason, if you're listening to this, you're a god, but, send us a review. Actually, everyone write a review right now. Stop. Write a review. Jesse, that includes you. And from there, we will move on to the story. The story of the game follows Mike, all-star pitcher Mike Jones, as he travels to visit his uncle, an archaeologist by the name of Dr. Stephen Jones, at his laboratory on the fictional Sea Island in the so-called South Seas. When Mike arrives at Dr. Jones' home in the tropical village of Coracola Island, he finds that his uncle has gone missing. Dr. Jones' assistant gives Mike a special yo-yo to defend himself and permits Mike to use his uncle's submarine to search for him. A submarine and a yo-yo? Sounds like a fun Saturday afternoon. On a nearby island, Mike finds a bottle with a message from Dr. Jones, stating that he has been abducted by E.T. Holy smokes, things are gonna get crazy. Well, good luck, gentlemen, and remember, this game is weird. See, I told you this game was gonna be weird. I told you, this game was weird. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you've played it now, you're like, yeah, this game is weird. Why is it so weird?
Yeah, where did they come up with half these ideas? What's up with the cola?
Yeah, because you go to you come from Americola,
Yeah.
and that you have to go to Sea Cola Island. I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe
Not
there's
sure why
maybe like
colas.
Pensacola. I don't know.
No idea.
Moving on to the level notes. Chapter 1 is called The Prelude. We start off on Sea Island and we go to the village. Talk to everybody, especially the pig butthole, to get the yo-yo.
Yeah. One cool thing about this game, or not cool thing, is that they literally make you go and have to talk to everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's neat, I guess, in the beginning, because you get some useful information, but lots of people say nothing. Lots of them are like, oh, Dr. J told us everything. We are almost like best friends. And I'm like, well, I don't know anything about you. Don't just assume we're best friends because Julius Irving over here is telling you stories about me.
Yeah.
Jerks. From there, when we do to get the yo-yo, we get access to the island tunnel. It's very basic level. We learn how to attack and solve some puzzles, and we do fight a boss. Snake! Dun 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 dun. I would recommend just time your throws with your bolo or your yo-yo into his mouth, and he shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
From here, on the other side of the cave, we meet Babu, which is Dr. J's assistant. We get access to the submarine. We use the activation code 1492. Who sailed the ocean blue that year?
I think his name was Jefferson.
Really?
No, it's Christopher Columbus.
All right. I was going to say, I just wanted to clarify because I was like, I'm leaving Jefferson in if that's a real thing.
Like, wow, Tyson, way to know your obscure facts. Like, no.
It's funny. So just make a note of that. 1492. Christopher Columbus, America, cola. And that ends chapter 1. Chapter 2, dolphins. I actually made that sound. I'm really proud of myself.
Yeah, it was quite good. We also didn't talk about the creepy when it goes to the first person kind of conversations.
Oh, we didn't. Yeah. So I guess graphics. We don't skip on the whole graphic part of this. Overworld, not great. The dungeon's kind of okay. You're a little bit taller. The screen's fairly well laid out, but then first person conversations. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So it's just like an awkward, just like one screen, and I don't even think they moved their frickin' mouse.
No, it's just a drawing of the chief or your friend Babu or Princess Cheesecake or whatever her name is.
And it's just this awkward drawn like picture, and a lot of the people look really terrifying.
They sure do. They sure do. In chapter 2 with the dolphins, a dolphin comes up to us and asks us to save her kid. We go to the island, head into the lighthouse. The lightkeeper tells us to go comfort his wife and how his wife lives in a different part of the island and likes visitors. Mm-hmm. Kind of a creepy vibe from this couple. Not a big fan.
Yeah, they remind me of the odd couple from Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I like that. From here, we can go. The wife tells us doesn't know where the baby is, but go look for a bottle. We go find a bottle on a beach, and we find a code 1776. Do you know what happened in 1776?
I have no idea.
The American Revolutionary War.
Is that actually true?
Yep.
Wow, well done, sir. Well done.
Well, I did my research because I was finding these numbers, and I was like, 1492. I was like, that's weird. 1776. It's goddamn American propaganda. We got hippies running the world with Castlevania 2. We got Americans trying to, just push their agendas on our youths through their StarTropics games. It just needs to end. It needs to stop. We need to get more.
We need change. I don't know.
Yeah, that's all I got. Thanks a lot, Obama.
Yeah, I thought change was coming, man.
But with that code, the code submerges the submarine, and you can explore more. So you find these little ripple waves. You can kind of go underneath and find another little exit point. Hooray! Find a cart container before you head to the next dungeon, the dungeon of the Octo Lair. There are some weird fish monsters in this area. This area, I would say, is pretty action heavy. And the second half of the game has some mystery paths, so I don't really like that too much. Most doors in this area open by just killing all the enemies in the room, which I really enjoy. So I would say that the adventure parts of the game, the dungeon, let's call them dungeon parts of the game. They have two parts: puzzles and actions. Do you have a favorite between puzzles or action?
Probably the puzzles.
Okay.
Because some of them were actually kind of like interesting, whereas the action is just literally throwing a yo-yo or trying to jump over some shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
See, I'm on the opposite side. I think I like the action because it's a bit more stale and repetitive than the puzzles that just make no sense. And they have these mystery exits or mystery paths that you take, and you're like one screen away from being done the dungeon, and it takes you right back to the beginning.
Surprise.
Stupid Stupid game.
Yeah.
Make our way through this level, and we fight the Octo. Jump, Gypsy! That was my...
Yeah. And then along the way, you actually collected some snowmen. And once he comes close, use one of your snowmen, and the snowman stops time.
Oh, shit, I didn't know that.
And then you just kind of can wreck him that way. But... just weird that the snowman would stop time. Just like it freezes time.
Yeah, it freezes time. Yeah. That's awesome. That's great. We reunite the dolphins, and they show us the way to the next chapter. Do you want to get drunk again to talk about this chapter 3? Because it's a real doozy.
Yeah, it's my least favorite chapter for sure.
All right, I'm going to try and do my best just to power through this one, because it kind of will we'll talk about it for a really long time. Anything to add, just cut in. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of take the flag and try and get through this as best we can. Chapter 3, Storm and Calm. A storm tosses your ship, so explore the island until you find a tunnel. The tunnel to Miracola. Another one of those colas. This one isn't too hard, but it does have a trick exit right at the end and has some scary-ass birds. When we head into Miracola, we walk around until we find the chief, who tells us about the sleeping princess. You need a cure so that they will heal your ship. They can't cure a simple sickness, but they can fix submarines.
Science.
Yeah, science. From here, we head to the hot magma cave. This area has some dark rooms, so you basically have to memorize the pathways or use a really good guide or a map until you find the light switch. There was I also would say use save states. The second half has a bit more action, which I enjoyed. We get to the boss of this area, which is the lava guy. We jump around until we hit the correct tiles, which sinks him into the lava. Or is it water?
Water.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. From here, we find a all-girl castle. There's a witch who lost her crystal ball, so we have to go to the graveyard, because apparently she took her crystal ball for a walk amongst the tombstones. Big Liam Neeson fan, must be. So another nice dungeon, the ghost tunnel. This area is very, very hard. There are a lot of puzzle rooms in this game. Be prepared to look everywhere, even at like the sides of the screens, to see if there's different colors, because sometimes if you look at the very edge, there's like a little tiny black spot, which actually means there's like a secret passage to another room. It's just like, please use a guide. There was a fun mirror shield item here that you needed to kill some Wizrobe enemies, so they'd shoot little projectiles at you. You'd pull up your shield at the right moment to kind of reflect them back. I really liked that part.
Yep.
The boss was a giant boo. He wasn't too tough. Just learn his strategy and rinse and repeat. We did it. Yep. Also in that area, this is the same one with the lanterns, right? Or,
Yes, because you use the lanterns to see the ghost for a brief second.
yeah, so you're in these rooms, nowhere to go. You pull up a lantern and there's a hidden ghost in the corner. How the fuck are you supposed to know that? Come on, game.
Yeah. Then after you beat the giant ghost, basically you release the water.
Yep. Which
And then you can get the medicine for the village.
No,
No.
that would be too easy. We have to uncover the crystal ball. So we can take it back to the witch so she can turn us into a girl. So we can go into the girl's castle so we can get a new weapon, the shooting star.
Ah, yes.
Then we learn the magical words. Abracadabra. We head into a tunnel. We have to jump 10 times at the end of it to move on. Now we're in the hermit cave. Still in chapter 3, eh? Still in chapter 3. This area is a little bit more action than puzzles, which I think is a lot easier. Again, the puzzles in this game just get kind of obscure. And if you're not following a guide, followed this guide that told you what to do in the overworld. In the dungeons, they just kind of had like the layout of all the pictures, so lots of it was you had to figure out on your own. So I think that's why I have a little bit of resentment towards some of these. Right.
See, I used a let's play on one let's play in the map on one screen and then this game on the other. So
That's very nice. There was no boss in the hermit cave, so when we get to the end, there's just kind of like a little water puddle. We jump in it, or I guess it's like a geyser. It shoots us up to the top of this cliff. We find the hermit, who gives us the medicine. We cure the original fat princess, and we get our ship back. We did it. We did it. We did it, guys.
Chapter 4.
Yay! Confessions! Woo! We start off on an island. We learn that Babu is looking for us, so we go to the sea and we get eaten by a whale. Now we're inside a whale.
Yep. And you just traverse your way through the whale until you get to...
I think you're looking for the lighter, right?
Yes.
Because you have to create a fire on the raft so that he sneezes.
Yeah, and it shoots you at the top and you get that sweet, sweet graphics.
You land on a little tiny island with Babu, and that's it. That's the end of the chapter. Oh, wait. We need to find a code. How do you find the code for this area?
In the Wii U version, you actually have to bring up the operation manual. So you have to click the home button like you're about to leave. Then you have to go down to the operation menu.
So pause for 1 second. You're a kid in 1990. You're playing this game. You get to this point. How do you find the code?
When in the box that you bought it, because you clearly bought it in the box and not from a friend or anything like that, there's a piece of paper, and you take that piece of paper and you dip it in water, and it's actually invisible ink, and you should actually hold it up to the light to see it.
Yeah, very cool. The code was 747?
Yep.
Very cool, very neat. Sorry, go back to the Wii U and then we'll talk about it.
Oh yeah, on the Wii U, basically you hit the home button and you bring up the operations manual, and in the operations manual there actually should be, I think it's in chapter, like it goes actually what chapters and it kind of reads it out. And if you click on chapter 4, it will actually have a little like kind of blue highlighty link, and when it says letter, and if you click on that letter, it'll show you a piece of paper that says 747.
Very cool, very neat. Limitations, like Tyson said, you have to buy this, you have to have the game, you're playing through it once or you're writing it down. If it's a rental game, that like those blockbusters that didn't give you the instruction manuals, or like the kid before you stole the instruction manual, you're basically screwed. Without a Nintendo Power, without a really cool friend, without calling the hotline. So there are those limitations. I really like the game for taking that risk going ahead. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, it definitely makes the game a lot better. I love it when they do little things like that. Like Metal Gear Solid did the look on the back of the CD case, and you're like, CD case? I don't know CD case in my inventory. It's like, and I remember actually like picking it up as the kid and being like, oh shit,
yeah,
there's an it has a code right here, and like, no way, it has a code. And it's like, yeah, plug it in, what happens? Plugged it in and it works, and you're like, we solved the mystery. It's like, it makes you feel so smart as a kid. It's so rewarding, and it adds like a story to tell all your friends.
Yeah, like
So,
I've heard the complaint that it wrecks the immersions of the title. I don't buy into that. I love these extra little extrinsic things. Very cool. More games should do this. But
100%.
was that all of Chapter 4?
Yeah, I think you go shooting out and then it goes to chapter 5.
That's it. You plug in your code or whatever, and then it starts. And then that's it. You just go. You end up at Chapter 5, the Captain Bell. From here, we go to an island, and there's a pirate ship kind of blocking the way. We talk to all the villagers, get some bait, talk to Peter the pirate, learn the notes 135, 413. We play them on a giant piano or an organ, which unlocks the Captain Bell Cave. This is a very, very long dungeon. Those action parts that I said were fun about 10 minutes ago, they're not fun anymore in here. It's very repetitive. It's very, my goodness, it gets tough.
Yeah, and this is a pretty dense cave, and there's like rolling bowling balls that fuck you up.
Yeah, there's floor spikes, there's tiles that fall down, like you have to jump across a room at a certain cadence. If you don't hit a switch at a certain point, all the tile will just fall down and you get a game over. You need a lot of patience. You start at the beginning a lot. Use save states. Use a map.
Yep.
Use a map. There's like ghost pirates, there's dead ends. The only plus side is there is no boss. At the end, we just get to a switch, we hit it, drain some water, the pirate ship sinks, that's it. So that's the only saving grace for this chapter.
Gotcha.
Long.
And then I guess we're on to chapter 6, and we're still looking for our uncle.
Dr. J.
Yeah, Dr. Jones.
This area, like the first part, it's like an overworld exploring section. We're in our sub, and we keep getting Dr. J is 47 north and 37 east or something, right?
Yep.
I would say there's, again, use a map. There's a heart container here. You do need a heart container. Oh, you should have max heart containers at this point, right?
I think so. I feel like I did.
Okay. So just kind of make your way along. If you're following a guide, eventually you get to Dr. J's signal. We go to the Turbos Caverns. We find super jump boots here, which allow you to jump over 2 spaces. We also get cleats, the fun item I was talking about earlier, that when you hit the cleats, you kind of jump all over the room like a crazy ninja soccer kid, and you hit all the enemies once. Really like that one.
Yeah, that's a really cool power. I wish more things had it, like, because we were like, oh, well, it's unrealistic that you jump all over the screen. You're like, it's a video game.
Yep.
I don't care.
So the one thing with this is there was, like we kind of mentioned earlier, all these items. The cleats are great. You get 10 cleats to use. At the end of the level, they're out of your inventory. You don't get them again.
Yeah.
There's no grinding. There's no farming. You can't use them in the next area. And I think that's definitely one of the downfalls of this game, where you get your yo-yo or star, whatever you want to call it, and it becomes like the morning star. The fact that it just runs out, like you only keep that and you keep your health, but you miss all the little intrinsic factors. And that was the best part of Zelda. It wasn't your sword and walking around. It was, oh, I got bombs and I got this book that shoots fire with my magic rod now. Like it was all the extra add-ons. And I really think they messed up by not having things carry over in this game.
I completely agree, because I really think that you're absolutely right, that have it's the sub weapons, because everybody has their favorite. And like with this, Snowman's really cool, but they run out. You don't get any more. And it's like, oh, because like, I mean, it'd be nice if you could kind of like build up like a kind of a sub bank of all the cool weapons, and then like if you ever get stuck in a shitty room, which it happens, it's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna use all the fun toys that I got. Yeah, that makes the game way more interesting.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I would definitely say so over all the positives, there's definitely negatives in this game for sure.
Yep.
If you keep your head up here, though, and just keep moving, you should be okay. You should make it. Again, walkthroughs, save states, everyone's friend. We do get to a boss, which is a Tiki Head. He is pretty tough. Just really time your attacks, practice. Don't touch him or it's instant death. Oh, we do find a heart container on the other side, so we didn't have full health there. I think now we have full health on the other side of the dungeon.
Yes.
And we get to go right back into another dungeon. The Big Rock Tunnel. On the plus side, this level I don't think seemed as hard. There was a bit more action than puzzles, except for the puzzles that made you do like a blind jump onto the next screen. So there's nowhere to go except there's a path to like the north, and there's like a little green strip, and you have to make like a blind leap of faith and hope you don't land in water and die.
And there's a bunch of really fun spots where they're like, oh hey, you have to make a leap. Don't make a leap of faith here, or we'll kill you.
Yeah.
It's such a pain.
Yeah, in this game, like there's lots of rooms where you're going along, and you'll get to a room, and there's like, oh, look at all these treasures, and you hit a switch, and it opens another room, and you go, and there's more treasures, and you're like, man, this is awesome. And all of a sudden, you hit a switch, and a door opens on the same side of the screen. You're like, man, this is great. And then you jump through into a watery pit, and you die, and you're like, oh. And then at some point, you get these little life pickups. You get extra like lives per level. I got a couple that started taking away my lives, and I was like, what?
How fun.
Boy. Again, big rock tunnel. There is no boss. So, yay. On the other end, though, we meet Dr. J. Our doctor uncle, Dr. J. We did it. Yeah. He tells us about these 3 cubes and the plot. Something about there's this race called the Argonians that had sent the rock as an escape pod to Earth, and an evil alien had chased them across the galaxy.
Yes.
Obviously, that was... I mean, I mentioned it here. We've been talking about it for the last 10 minutes, so you guys are probably, like, so built into your brain. I don't know why I brought it up again. This game. This game.
It's so all over the place.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, aliens? What?
Mm-hmm. Chapter 7, The Alien Spaceship. 2 chapters to go, guys. Bear with us. We'll get through it. We're having a good time. You enter the spaceship and you're ready for the final part of the game. The first part, Sector 1. I used a walkthrough to survive. You need to go around, collect some ray gun, and find the correct teleporters to get you to Sector 2. Make sense?
Yep.
We find the first cube, and we go into Sector 2. There are more actions in this area than puzzles. Again, really like that. You're moving along platforms. Just watch out for the little gun turrets that shoot at you. Keep moving. Again, if you've got your map, walk through. You can find a couple little different power-up rooms, which is very nice. Yeah. There's the ray gun, and then there's like the big ray gun, right?
Yeah, yeah. And after you get the first cube, your shooting star turns into the supernova, and you can basically just like shoot across the screen now. It's like, because we didn't really talk about kind of range with it, but the yo-yo only has a certain kind of squares that you can shoot, and the shooting star is like 6 squares or whatever. Supernova is just across the screen. It's so nice. Yeah,
absolutely. And then we get to a boss, kind of a big mech suit. I shot this guy with like my plasma rifle. That's what I'll call not the ray gun, but the second one up, until he backs off and then falls into a pit. Yeah. We get to go through a fun maze. Is fun the right word? Yeah, fun.
Yeah.
The ship, we find the third cube. The ship starts to rumble and flies into the atmosphere. So now we're in outer space. You didn't see that one coming. American all-star pitcher Mike Jones. Mike Jones.
Who loves yo-yos.
Yeah, you're really good at yo-yos. Now you're in outer space. Chapter 8, The Final Battle. So that's a promising title.
Yes.
The first area, we get to a boss. Hit this guy in the head with your supernova. Avoid his hands. Do not make contact with any part of his body, or it's an instant death. It's not just like, oh, you'll take one hit, you just die. Game over. Sucks. Keep making this way through the area into the best boss in the game. The reactor. Best boss, game. Boom. Do you have any guesses why I think it's the best boss in the game?
Because you don't like the other bosses?
I like it because it's the best combination of action, adventure, and puzzle solving that we've seen thus far. So the way this works is there's a reactor. So in the middle of the room, there's this reactor. To hit it dead on, there's these 2 little platforms that periodically will open and close. If you're on it when it opens, you fall down. There's a little bunch of guys you have to kill, and you have to kind of backtrack through the area. There's also other turrets in the area that are shooting, plus enemies randomly jump out of the holes at you. I just find it's a really nice mix of puzzle solving, so you have to know which weapons to shoot where. You have to be able to time this. There's a good amount of action, adventure. It just seems like they took everything in the game that you learned and like made one boss out of it. And I love when games do that. They teach you all this stuff, and then they're like, now prove that you're ready to accept this great trial. It's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So I think I'm gushing more about this game than I'm not gushing. So probably a good sign, game. Probably a good sign.
And I mean, if I played this game as a kid, I'd be over the moon for this game. It is everything like that I would want from a good adventure game, all mixed into a nice little NES classic.
Once we beat the reactor, we just basically have to fight the final boss, and that's it. We head and fight Zoda, I believe was his name. Did you write down?
So.
Okay. He's like this big weird
Zoda.
Yeah, Zoda, alien monster. He shoots off little spawns. So he basically jumps around a grid. Just position yourself in a straight line with him. Fire as much ammo at him as you can. Don't let him touch you, because again, instant death. Because when you hit enemies in this game, they kill you. They just don't take a little bit of damage. I don't understand the point of the health in this game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's like you just need the health to get through to the bosses.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, don't screw up once or you're dead.
Yeah. We beat Zoda eventually. Now we find the final cube. Sorry, we find the final cube. The spaceship lands. We put all the cubes into the big stone, which was the escape pod, and a bunch of little Argonian children come out. Because apparently Zoda had ravaged the Argonian home planet, and they took a bunch of their youths, or kids, put them into cubes, put them into a rock, shot them into space. Zoda has tracked them across the planet to kill them for some reason.
Just a real jerk, that Zoda.
Yeah. Credits play with a lot of fun graphics. I know you're a big fan of the artwork. What did you think of the final pictures that were shown of our adventure?
It's pretty neat. Like, I mean, it kind of goes back and it shows all the other characters and kind of what they're up to. So I think you even see like the little dolphins again and everything. I
was it what they were doing, or was it just like somebody, like if somebody was drawing our adventure? Because that's what I thought it was. Because like you have to.
I always thought it was just somebody just drawing the adventure, or kind of like snippets of as you went along.
Yeah, and it did it actually. Yeah, because like I kind of like that. It was kind of a nice little recap. It's also very pretty. Like it looks really good for the NES. So kudos to them.
Yeah, and it's nice that they actually took the time and made decent credits instead of just being like, thank you for playing. Here's some people that worked on it. You know?
Yeah, that always seems kind of bush league from time to time. Awesome.
Yeah.
Current thoughts on this game. This game is fun. I don't know if it really is kind of like the spiritual... I don't know. This game is a lot of fun. I don't know if I like the spiritual successor to Zelda moniker that it gets. I think the game uses some elements, but it's not as complete as a Zelda game should be. It feels very rushed and complicated. The random trap rooms suck. The story is just all over the place. I had some sarcasm earlier when we were talking about the story, because the objectives are just random. Like, oh, go find Babu, and now there's this whale, and make sure you find this doctor. Like, it never seems like there's just one. Like, it's not collect the Triforce, because you need the Triforce to save the princess. That's a very streamlined story. This is just everything.
It's very arbitrary.
Yeah, like it just... And
they don't really even give you options where you'll run into a character. It's like, do you want to do this? Yes, no. And you're like, no. It's like, okay, do you want to do this? And you literally can't progress the game until you say yes. So it's not even an option.
Yeah, it's very linear. The controls are very lackluster. They're very clunky. Maybe it was just my controller. Again, I didn't have a good time with Kirby. Like, I don't think... Maybe my emulator isn't... I'm not having a good time with my control settings. So maybe that's me. Maybe I shouldn't be too harsh on it. I didn't have a good time. I think Zelda 2 is a better experience. Zelda 2, those combined are a better game than this. So, yeah. So finally,
and I think Zelda 2 is more approachable. This game, if you didn't know what you were getting into, you didn't know what to expect, you'd probably get to the first dungeon and be like, "Oh, okay, this is the game that I have played," and that's about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you would really like appreciate it, but playing all the way through it, you actually see the game for what it is, and you're like, man, this game is there's lots of there's a lot of love and effort that got made into this game, and they put a lot of like good gameplay into it. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but if I played this as a kid, I'd be blown away.
Yeah, no, I agree. So moving into, would you recommend this title?
I'll say yes, but you have to get to chapter 3.
Yeah, I would also say yes. Chapter 3 was fairly long. But with that being said, I think there's some elements, like the note. I mean, you can't really replicate the note, but like the note, some of the bosses, some of the design is so immaculate. And then it looks like someone else designed this other parts of the game I didn't like. But I think the good outweighs the bad in this case. Play this game if you got one. You're going to have a good time. I've actually seen lists, and they've said that like this is the second or third best game on the NES Mini. So really glad I got through it. And now when we relook at our top 10 list, we played this game. Hooray!
Yeah.
These double episodes do take a while. Like, we definitely could have done a Mega Man 2 and a StarTropics. So I don't know if we'll do another double episode. This is probably our last one. It's a little bit longer, but at the same time, if you start listening to something, maybe it's just a little bit easier to keep listening, right? Mm-hmm. So hopefully you guys...
And maybe StarTropics would be one of those games that people didn't jump into, but maybe, hopefully, grouping that with Mega Man, maybe it will help a couple people discover it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree. Finally, we'll just end with some Are You Buying It? So, the Southern Cross they kept talking about. I was thinking that was some type of like devil-worshipping, anti-Christian thing. What I found was the Southern Cross, or the Crux, is a constellation located in the southern sky in a bright portion of the Milky Way. It is the tip of the most southerly first magnitude star and the brightest star in the constellation. So we have kind of the North Star, which is the peak of the Big Dipper, or Ursa Major. This is just kind of the southern equivalent of this. This constellation can be found on the flags of Australia and New Zealand. Again, was trying to look up something that was very anti-Christian, a devil message. The only thing I found was it was a symbol for Australian strength during the British Revolution in Australia, and some southern countries recognize it. I got nothing. But you learned something about constellations.
Yeah, and the Australian flag.
There you go. And New Zealand flag. So, yeah, go check it out. Go walk, look at flags. Flags are neat.
Fascinating.
Do you have any thoughts, comments, concerns about the dates? So the 1492 or like the 1776, do you think that was just them being cute with like little dates in America? Doesn't mean anything?
I think so.
Or was it good storytelling? Was it Mike Jones is American from Americola, baseball pitcher, went to these southern places. What dates are he most likely to use? Probably American dates, right? Versus some obscure like coconut or bark.
Yeah, I just think that sometimes they were just feeling like, let's just grab references.
Yeah, okay.
What do people like baseball? He's a baseball player.
It is very American. Yeah, baseball. 17. I'm really excited that you got excited about my 1776 research.
I was like, well done. Well, because I suck at dates, man.
Yeah.
You said 1492, and I'm like, Columbus. Then I started hesitating, but like maybe it wasn't Columbus. I'd be that guy that would get that first question wrong on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It's
very unfortunate. So, with that, I don't think we missed anything. Those were some pretty big games. Like, if you look at top 10 lists, like Mega Man 2, StarTropics, people rave about these games. Really hope we did them justice. I had a game I loved, game I just played for the first time. Really enjoyed both titles. Moving forward, we are going to kind of go back to our roots a little bit. Our roots. Zelda, our roots. We're going to play a Zelda game next for you. We also have an RPG that you guys voted on. There will be a Twitter poll at some point. It'll be past kind of where you guys want us to move next. Actually, maybe we'll come out around the same time. I don't know. Keep your eyes on Twitter.
Yeah.
There's ugly Mega Mans to look at. There's polls to take part in. Maybe just tweet us.
You'd just be like, you guys suck at doing this, or you guys are awesome at doing this. Let us know.
Yeah. And then from there, I'm just going to end with our closing, and then we can say goodbye. So I guess, I think we forgot to say goodbye one time. So goodbye.
See ya.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. You can contact Podtendo on Twitter at Podtendo Podcast. Email us at podtendo@gmail.com, or check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/podtendo. The music of Podtendo was used without permission